Shakalaka! The Knicks are grit. These kids and our party just lit. Bet it's the littest. You know we lit. You know we lit. You know we lit. You know we lit. Turn up, no we lit. Turn up. You know we lit. Let's go deep time. You know we lit. Mr. Nixon. You know we lit. Kev, what up? You know we lit fresh, that's the Pearl A Lord. You know we lit Knickerbocker, have a talk to him. Let's go! Since the Knicks, we lit.
Yo. What's good, everybody? It's time to talk that Knicks and Ish. I'm your boy, the infamous one, Knickerbocker Ave. Joined, as always, by our beloved co-host, Yatu Save, Mr. Kev Rodriguez. You already know what time it is. Press that like button, continue to comment, press the notification, and subscribe to Knicks and Ish so that way you don't miss out on any of our lives. Thank you so very much for all those who continue to join us each and every night, win, lose, or draw. Because tonight the Knicks lost. They lost. The winning streak is over. The Knicks fall 114-103 to the Charlotte Hornets. Kind of a little bit as expected. Charlotte's been playing out of their freaking minds lately. They just, they're fighting for their playoff lives. Initial reaction will come up as soon as we do a little housekeeping. And well, there's no one here yet, but I'm pretty sure our beloved faithful, the ones that are always here on day ones, are always going to show up night in, night out. But Kev, your initial reaction, please.
I thought that in the beginning we gave them a little bit of fight. We kept fighting back. I think we went down 12 or 15 or something like that. Then after that we cut it down to 1. And I ain't gonna lie to you, my daughter called me in the room, and when I went into the room and I came back, we was back down by like 9 again. I'm like, yo, shout out to the Hornets. I mean, they've been hot. Within the last 10 games, they're 8-3 in their last 11 now with this win. They've been averaging 125 points a game the past, I would say, maybe 5 to 6 games. They were 6 points away from 120 in this game. It seemed like even if we defended the 3 or not, it just seemed like everything was falling for them. They was knocking down the 3-point shot was falling for them all game long. We had no answer for the transition offense. We struggled on that. We struggled defending the 3-point line. We struggled grabbing rebounds, offensive rebounds. We were getting killed. It was a tough game, to be honest with you. I mean, the Hornets, they were hot from more cylinders. Their bench played better than ours. We got outscored 26-17. Points over turnovers. They had 17 points over turnovers on us. We couldn't take care of the ball. I feel like Jalen Brunson was the only guy facilitating in this game, which, I think he had 13 assists, which led the team. It was a disappointing loss, but at the same time, I think we was on an 8-game winning streak, right? 7-game winning streak. So, it was bound to happen. And they were on a 4-game winning streak, now 5. And they've been playing solid basketball these past 5 games. You know what I mean? And so have we. But in this game, they got the best of us. I wish Mike Brown, would have let Cat rock out instead of sending him and only playing him 21 minutes, which I thought was I thought that was nasty work. Um, but again, you got to tip your hat to them. They young, they hungry. With them having Cody White on there and having that kid I always have a hard time pronouncing.
Ron Knipple.
Yo, that kid, what up, Jeremy? What's goody, bro? That kid is a really good player. Um, his shooting from the 3-point line is ridiculous. So they all around they played better than us. They wanted it more than we did, and you just got to tip your hat.
My initial reaction to this game was that the Knicks played really flat,
Yeah,
pretty much all 48 minutes. The Hornets were obviously they were the hungrier team. They were the more efficient team. They were quick. They were definitely the faster team. Going getting up and down. Of course, there she is. Going on,
Darlene,
Darlene.
what up, sis? What's goody?
Jeremy was good, my brother. So I think that this was the Hornets game. They controlled the pace from the beginning to the end. They they knew that the Knicks were having a hard time keeping up with them, keeping guys in front of them. They gave it a valiant effort, where they're utilizing their talent, using a lot of screen and roll action, throughout the first half. But once they kind of abandoned that, Charlotte built up that great lead. The Knicks tried to get back. In that fourth quarter, I think they closed out the quarter on a what was it, like a 18-10 run or something like that, or 18-7 or something like that. But it was already too little, too late. The Knicks were down 21 at that point, and there really wasn't a lot after Brunson. Josh Hart had a pretty good game. I mean, he was the stat stuff are extraordinaire, but aside from that, you really didn't get a lot of anything. I don't know why Karl-Anthony Towns was only limited to 20 minutes tonight at all. I don't understand that logic. It wasn't like he was in foul trouble, unless it's an injury maintenance kind of thing. Then I don't see what was the point. And you really didn't get it. Like you mentioned it before, the bench just did not produce at all. I mean, it's like the bench just did not show up at all. When you have you have Diawara scoring 5, Mitchell Robinson scoring 4, you're not expecting much, but Clarkson only getting 18 minutes and getting 8 points. Alvarado and Kolek both played limited minutes, but they didn't contribute anything to this.
Nothing.
Right? And then you had Jalen Brunson. Before someone says anything, he had 26 points and 23 shots. He also played 40 minutes. He was the only one contributing to this thing. When Brunson was out of the game, the 8 minutes, the total 8 minutes that he was out of the game, he did not. There was no one facilitating. Cat was not a factor. You really didn't get much from Mikal Bridges either. I mean, he got 14 points again, which is what that's what he's averaging. But this is the Hornets just they wanted it more, they got more, and for that, they deserved the victory. As shown in the standings, they do. Here's the new playoff picture as it stands. They move up a little bit. They're now in 9th. Fighting for that in that play-in. And what's crazy is if you look at the standings, completely, they're right there. They can almost leapfrog and get out of the play-in and make the playoffs. And could you imagine if they overtake both Orlando, Philly, and Toronto and end up in the 6th seed, and we stay at the 3? That's our first round matchup. So how you feeling, Knicks fans, about that one? A first round matchup against the Charlotte Hornets, a team that just beat you 114-103 tonight in Charlotte. I mean, I'm sure the Knicks fans in Charlotte would love that, but because they also have the claim to being the sixth borough. But I don't know about you, man. That was kind of some nasty work, tonight at the Knicks. Um, I figured that this was going to be a tough game. I figured that it was going to come down to the wire, but the fact that they were just
Hmm.
out hustled, outclassed, and outplayed pretty much the entire night. Some people would say, "Oh, well, that's the Jekyll and Hyde Knicks." But for me,
Hey,
that's
my
not
bad.
it. No
My
worries.
bad.
No worries. That's living in the city for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. I can't call it like I think I think Alvarado played like 5 minutes. Diawara played, I forget how many minutes he
Or
played, 4 minutes. Like that's not gonna cut it. Shan you got Shaman out, Deuce is out, which I thought Deuce was gonna play today, but I guess they decided not to let him play. But I seen him like practicing and it seemed like he was moving well. So I assume, maybe they let him play, but I don't know, man. Like it's again, this team is young. They're a fast-paced team, and today we just didn't match that energy at all. We didn't match them at all whatsoever. I mean, we tried. I felt like OG was trying to keep us in the game, but at one point he was hitting shots, but it was just Jalen Brunson all by himself, and I don't understand what Mike Brown is doing and why he would not play Cat why he would play Cat only 21 minutes in this game. But you know, him not using other guys like even Tyler Kolek who went off in the limited minutes in that last game that he played, like you not giving him no burn. If you see that the other guys on the bench ain't producing, why didn't you try to make him, you know, let throw in Tyler Kolek to just do something different. You know what I mean? Um, I agree with Rodney. Why isn't Cat the vocal? The guy. Why isn't the ball going through Cat? I think that he should be switch it up like that. If you see that it's not working any other way, I feel like every time we go through Cat, we play more aggressive. Um, but I guess he's trying to like figure things out before we go to the playoffs. I don't know. I can't call it with Mike, man. Sometimes he does it, sometimes he don't. It's weird.
all right, shout out to APAP1586 on the super
Word.
chat. Appreciate much love. Leon will be fired if they lose the matchup in the playoff to an
Oh
inexperienced
man.
Charlotte team. This group will be broken up. Great show. Appreciate you, brother.
Word. Appreciate you,
I don't know
APAP.
if I don't know if Leon will be fired for that. I'm sure that Mike Brown will, um, because he was supposed to be the answer to Tibbs. He was supposed to fix the problem that Tibbs did not address. I think that I don't think that I mean James Dolan, will do whatever James Dolan does. That I mean, if he feels that's what he's going to do, he's going to do it. I don't hold it past him. However, I don't think that Leon has anything to worry about. To be honest with you, even if what you're saying comes to fruition, even
Hmm.
if the Knicks face the Charlotte Hornets in the first round, first of all, I don't think that the Hornets can win a 7-game series. I don't think that they can. Even if they make the 6th seed, I don't think they can get past a Knicks team in a grueling 7-game series because you have to do that same performance on a consistent basis against the same opponent who's learning you as they go along. So and
Hmm.
you know that everybody knows that we've been in the playoffs for a few years now. So and anybody from our generation and older knows how the playoffs are. You know, a matchup can be dictated game by game, possession by possession, and I don't think that the Charlotte Hornets have enough talent and enough experience on that side of the ball for them to to overcome all the onslaught that the Knicks will bring. Um, Dolan is a fan at the end of the day. You're absolutely right. But he's a crazy fan. He's a crazy maniacal fan with a lot of freaking money and power that we all wish we had.
I'll be honest with you. I'd be disappointed if he fired Leon Rose. I think Leon Rose has done a tremendous job putting his team together. Um, I mean, if it doesn't happen this year and we get eliminated, uh, uh, let's say in the first, second round or whatever, I think the first person to be gone will be Mike Brown. To be honest, honestly, I think. You know what I mean? Because why Leon Rose and who would you go out there and get to that's gonna do the job that Leon Rose has done so far?
The thing is that also, if the Knicks, I think that the only saving grace that the Knicks can save anybody from being fired is if they make the NBA Finals. That's pretty much it. You have to do better than what you did last year.
Right, right.
And for everyone to keep their jobs, that has to happen. In any event, meaning first round, second round, conference finals, NBA finals, I think that if the Knicks do not win the NBA championship, you already know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's already a foregone conclusion. I'm pretty sure Leon has already had some ideas and deals already in the making, heading into the NBA draft, heading into free agency. You know what's going to happen. You know that the trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to happen. Now,
Mm-hmm.
is it a 1,000% certainty that he's going to the Knicks? No, but you know that the Knicks are going to make that call, and the books are going to be open, and they're going to just present it to the Milwaukee Bucks ownership, and they're going to be like, "I want him, and him, and the Knicks." And the Knicks will probably acquiesce to that because now James Dolan has gone on the radio. He's gone on Michael K show, and he's a certain believer that the Knicks will and should win the NBA championship this year, ending a 53-year curse. But the reality is that if now you put the owner on blast and you leave him, throw him under the bus, heads are going to roll. And
Yeah.
if anybody who's been a Knicks fan for the last 20 years, when has James Dolan ever let anything slide?
Wow.
He has yet to forgive Charles Oakley. He has yet to forgive. I mean, come on now. There's it's like
I know.
and before anyone says, "Oh, Oakley doesn't want it," because you don't just stick your hand out and be like, "My bad, dog." No, there's got to be an enormous amount of reconciliation. But the reality is that I don't think that anyone is safe if we miss the finals. And I really do feel that if the Larry O'Brien is not brought to Madison Square Garden, that the situation will be is that the Knicks will open up the books and say everybody but Jalen Brunson you can have.
Yeah.
Sad but true.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Um, I'll be honest with you. I hope we don't go that route. But you know, if we do get bumped in the first round, sadly, that you're right. That might be the case. Um, but hopefully, right now it hasn't happened. So let's just hope for the best. Um, but I do agree with Darlene. I do agree with what Darlene said a little while ago. She said this team wasn't ready for the Hornets' fast pace and 3-point shooting team. I don't think they was. I mean, we have been I think we've been the number one defense for how long already? For like the past what? Since the
Uh, 2 months
2 months. We've been the number one ranked defensive team in the league, but
and offense.
and offense. But I feel like against the way this team was playing the past 5-6 games, I think that was going to be a difficult task. Um, Wilton, I gotta disagree with you, man. Like the Charlotte Hornets are no bums. There's some really good players over there. They got two good young rookies. Um, you know, Miles Bridges is still a decent player. Then you got LaMelo Ball playing the way he's playing. Um, Brandon Miller playing the way he's playing. They got some dogs over there. So, we was like Av said earlier, we was flat. We didn't show up. We tried to match their energy earlier, but they just kept punching us in the face, and we had no answer for it. And then Mike Brown dropped the ball later in the game by only to me by not playing Cat enough minutes.
Jackass.
And forcing the ball through him, knowing that really they ain't got nobody to stop him on that team.
The Charlotte Hornets, because you mentioned that they have two great rookies, but Con Knipple, if it wasn't for the hoopla that Cooper Flag is getting, Con Knipple is clearly the runaway rookie of the year.
Yeah, he's really good.
And on top of that, LaMelo Ball is playing the best stretch of basketball of his whole career. This is the most consecutive games he's ever played. It's like 26 or 27 games that he's played without missing one. And we knew going into this, the Charlotte Hornets are, they had something to play for. They're playing to not only stay on pace to get into the play-in, they're trying to avoid the play-in altogether and get into the playoffs. And they see a wide opening because Toronto is, they are who they are, but you can't trust them. You can't put your money on them. Miami is floundering. Atlanta is good, but I don't think they're consistent enough. And so they're looking at the teams above them. They're like, fuck that. We can beat all these guys. And they have. That's the crazy thing. They have. I think they even have a win over the Thunder, and they have a win over the Spurs. And so that should tell you that this team has some fight in it. They can, they can surprise you. They can't pull up the upset. It's just a matter of, do they all commit and
excuse me, sorry,
make things happen? But the Knicks just didn't have it tonight. They just did not answer the call. And I mean, if you look at the last 4 or 5 games, I think I mentioned this in the last live with T and Mrs. Knicks, is like the reality was that the Knicks have been kind of playing, at 60, maybe 70% effort. This is not the Knicks team that, that's focused and engaged and putting belt to ass to teams. No, this is the same Knicks team that's been playing with their food. Playing their food with Brooklyn, with New Orleans, with Washington, and with these other bum-ass teams. So when you look at so now that you're playing a team that's got something to fight for, something that that they're trying to prove something that they belong in the top 6 teams of the Eastern Conference, let alone in the top 10. They want to be in the top 6 because they don't want to get into that situation where it's one and done and you're out, or one and then go to the next one, get that one, and then you have to start a series, because they want to make sure that they have the opportunity to go into the postseason and actually compete. Because can they upset somebody? Absolutely. Maybe they're I joined a podcast. I think it was yesterday. Jim, Joe and Emmy. Shout out to them. They were doing. They were asking me, so like, if the Knicks win the title, do you care who you face? And in a weird way, I'm like, no, I want to face the Pistons. I want to face the Celtics. I want to beat them, and I want to beat them at their best.
Right.
But at the same time, will it matter if they didn't? No, it probably wouldn't. But it would make that whole experience sweeter. The Charlotte Hornets are looking at it at this situation. It's like, we just want the fucking opportunity. We just want this opportunity to get in. If we're playing the Knicks in the first round, we want that opportunity because we can probably make it a series, earn some respect, And maybe they can go into the offseason and lure a free agent or two and start building from there. At least they know where they stand in the pecking order, as opposed to just an afterthought. Because when you talk about the Eastern Conference, what teams do you think about? You think about the Celtics, Pacers when they're healthy, the Knicks, the Bucks when they're healthy and they're loaded, and then the Cavs, and then that's it. You don't really think about it because Miami's kind of,
Hmm.
Orlando kind of
Orlando, when healthy, they're a problem though.
when they're healthy, but
Yeah,
that's never been the case. They're
yeah,
never
right,
healthy.
right.
It's the same thing with the Sixers because I think the Sixers, if they're healthy,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
a dangerous team, but they're never fucking healthy.
yeah. It's
It's
true.
either Embiid or now it's Maxi, or if it's not Maxi, it's Edgecombe. It's like if you can get 60 61 games out of those guys together, not total, together, then maybe you could make a case for each one of these teams, but those guys just never stay healthy. Same thing happens with Orlando. Orlando, when they're healthy, are dangerous. They're not
Hmm.
they're not they're not title contenders, don't get me wrong, but they're dangerous. But they're never healthy. Either Bankero is out or somebody else is. It's like give me I want to see I want to see these teams be healthy. That way when we beat them, they know where they stand because then the next year they can come back and make it a much more fun series because of course I want us to win, but at the end of the day, if you're a basketball fan, what's the biggest gift in the world when you see good basketball being played on a weekend, and that heavenly music of the NBA and NBC starts, and you're like, wow, that was a fucking crazy game. I love that. And of course, now that we got these DraftKings and betting sites and gambling, which folks we'll probably do that later again. If Raz can ever get back to us on that one because he's been doing his own parlays and he's been like making a killing. You saw that last parlay he did, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Holy
He does
shit.
good. He's really good at it.
I'm just gonna say this with all due respect, but that nigga did not just get that name, because he made it up. he did not just make that shit up.
That
This
was
nigga,
actually Marlon that made up that name for him.
but no, but you see, it's not a made up name. This nigga actually does fucking win parlays like crazy.
Yeah,
It's like you
yeah.
show me the legs of them. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, man. So it's weird, man. Salute, Randu was good, bro. Tough game tonight, bro. Tough game tonight.
With the upcoming schedule being what it is, the Knicks now head into Oklahoma City to take on the champs in their building. That's not something that I'm really looking forward to. I mean, yeah, of course, I always want to beat the best, but knowing what they did to us last time, and then on Tuesday night in Houston, Houston's looking for their get back from that come from behind win on about what was it about almost a month ago. Then we headed to Memphis, which is kind of crazy because Memphis, you know, they've lost four in a row. They've lost a lot. I mean, I think they won one game in the last month or so. They beat the Nuggets 125 to 118. I think that's the game that Joker didn't play, but then they've lost, 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 lost. They've been losing a lot.
Hmm.
But knowing how these Knicks are, these Jekyll and Hyde Knicks, these cardiac arrest, crazy Knicks. How are you seeing at least the next 5 games? That's the Thunder, the Rockets, the Grizzlies, the Bulls, and then the Hawks before we take on the Celtics.
I mean, listen. To be honest with you, like right now, we could take a tumble, man. Like you got Oklahoma City, who they still the best team in the West. Well, not really. They're probably like the second best, maybe. Because I think the Spurs bust their ass this year. So I think the
They have.
Spurs, yeah, if not, they swept them this season.
I think they have.
They think they did, yeah. So yeah, and then we could take a tumble because look, Oklahoma, Houston, those are two tough teams right there, bro. If we go in there, if we go into Oklahoma playing like we did tonight, that's a L, bro. That's a L. Same thing with Houston. Memphis, I'm not really worried about. Chicago, I think those two teams right there, I think, we could beat those. We should beat those teams. Even though like you said earlier, we've been playing with our food with Washington, Pelicans, and Brooklyn. We kind of like struggle to win those games. But Atlanta, man, Atlanta's been playing really good basketball as of late too. Like the Hornets. So, like we could easily drop, 3 out of the 5 games if we don't play our A game basketball, bro. Easy go 2 and 3, and we could and that'll hurt us in the standings. So the Knicks got to go in there and play their game, you know, uh, and do all the little things. You know what I mean? To be able to win these games, man, because this is a rough stretch right now. We're playing really good teams except Memphis and Chicago. Because even look, we play Charlotte again, Toronto, Boston, Atlanta, Houston, and Oklahoma. They're all playing pretty good basketball, and they're all playoff teams. You got at least two contending teams up there that are solid contenders in Boston and Oklahoma City. So, the Knicks got their hands full, man. Pause.
They definitely do,
Yeah.
because Oklahoma City, they won 12 in a row. Their 12-game losing streak just ended to Boston last night,
Right.
and they haven't lost 2 in a row in over a month. And just to add a little, levity to the situation, they don't lose 2 in a. They have 3 2-game losing streaks this entire season. So maybe you look at it from maybe they're due, but I don't know about that. Houston, they're kind of on a skid. They've lost 2 in a row. They've been kind of like Jekyll and hiding it a little bit. They're 11 and a half games out in their own division behind San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't been playing, pretty good, consistent basketball. I don't know what it is. It's just not the same defense that they were having earlier in the season, when they had what was that guy's? They had Durant and one of the was it the Morris brothers or one of the other Thompson. He hasn't been playing as consistently as he has been. So maybe that can be something. Memphis. I look at Memphis and Chicago, and I look at those as trap games. Definitely the Chicago game, because Chicago's been surprising teams, for the last couple of weeks for some reason. And so, and then Atlanta, they're kind of like another Charlotte, where they're also playing for their playoff lives. And then you head into that, into that final week where you have a showdown against the Celtics, and then another game against the Hornets, and Lord knows what we're looking at. I mean, if I had to be a betting man, I say we lose Oklahoma City, we win at Houston, we win at Memphis, we lose in Chicago, and Atlanta could be a toss-up.
Right.
I think we beat Atlanta. So you're right. We can go 2-3, 3-2 very easily. This also could be a 1-4 situation.
Yeah.
If the Knicks don't play their cards right and really start correcting the bumbling, stumbling blocks that they have on the road, they can easily Go 1-4, over the next five, and then where does that leave you in the playoffs
Hmm.
position? I mean, that's the seeding right now, and I mean, to go back to the standings, there's not enough wiggle room to me for comfort between the Knicks and the Cavs, even though the Knicks are 5.5 out from first, the Cavs are 8. There's not enough wiggle room. I'm not worried about falling under 4, but I am worried about falling to 4, because then at that case, Knicks fans are going to be, sitting bricks, pause,
Right.
considering that that in the second round, now you got to face the Detroit Pistons in round two, with them having home court advantage, knowing that the Knicks have had such, some really hard times on the road.
It's true. It's
But
true, bro.
what are your guys' takes? What do you guys feel? Um, hit us up on the comments. How do you think the Knicks do in the next five? The rest of the rest of the season. Um, where do we face? Where do we finish? Um,
Hmm.
because these
Shit.
Jekyll and Hyde Knicks are, they're hard to freaking predict. They really
Right.
are.
And even maybe like drop 5. Jesus Christ. Hold on 1 second. I gotta go open the door for my wife. Hold on.
While Kev goes handles business before he gets yelled at. Um, looking around the NBA, wow. Detroit Pistons took, they made light work of the Pelicans, 129 to 108. Orlando, staying on pace, 121 to 117 over the Sacramento Kings, and that was pretty much the NBA. I keep on going back into this playoff picture, and I really have to say, man, that Eastern Conference play-in tournament is going to be really interesting, because first of all, who ends up where, and not only that, who ends up where, who plays who and what, and how that plays out. Because um, if you're looking at what I'm looking at that Miami Heat, and I'm still got in this in my head. Big Tone, you see where y'all at right now, right? Pay my man his money. We got the video. We got it
Oh
ready for
shit.
you, bro. I know you still sometimes watch us. Look where the Miami Heat is. Remember what the bet is. The Miami Heat have to finish 1 through 6,
Damn.
and the Knicks have to get past the first round. I'm not gonna get that, forget that part. I will honor both. But there it is. The Miami Heat are currently sitting at 10th. And again, going back to the standings, you're pretty much safe at 10. I don't think Milwaukee's catching you. I don't think Milwaukee's catching you. But
Walk is done.
but the crazy thing is that a week can change that. They can easily jump into 6. Um, two and a half games separate. 6 through 10, which is kind of interesting. How the Eastern Conference is shaping up. I mean, what do you think about that?
I don't know. It's tough, man. Cause like if a lot can happen, right? We could lose majority of those games and drop what, 4th, because I think Cleveland is behind us by 3. I
Right.
don't think Atlanta's catching us. So I
No.
think the maybe the worst will drop 4th, which I don't really want to see. So I'm hoping the Knicks could fucking play better basketball. And you want to be going into the playoffs with some kind of momentum. You know what I mean? It's, you don't want to go in there with with losing on a losing end. You know what I mean? That's not good. Like you see how the Hornets, like those teams, like the Hornets, Atlanta, who's playing really good basketball and peaking at the right time. You want to peak at the right time when you're about to go into the playoffs. And I don't know, man. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell with the way the Knicks are playing.
Well, let's take a look at the
I,
Western
I
Conference.
I I know. Like, listen, if we keep playing, we're not catching Detroit.
Oh no, we're not. I don't
We're
think.
not catching Detroit.
I think that ship has sailed. But here's the Western
Yeah,
Conference. Um, Yo, what's good, Marlon Mayhem? What's popping, baby? Um,
it's
the
popping,
Thunder.
Marlon.
It's pretty much a two-team race. The Thunder and the Spurs. I think we're pretty much set at who's one, who's two. I don't think that Oklahoma City is going to. They have. I know they have a little bit of a tougher schedule, but I don't think that San Antonio's because I think they're going to be resting Wemby, a couple of times. But then from the third seed all the way down to the seventh seed is separated by just 5 games. The Lakers and the Nuggets kind of trade places, every couple of weeks. The Timberwolves have been surging. They're trying to at least go for the 3 seed, but they're right on the heels of the Nuggets for the fourth. And then right underneath them is the Rockets. I think 3 through 6, it'll be the same teams. The order might shift. And then 7th through 10 is pretty much set in stone. I don't obviously they are because the Pelicans have been eliminated. It's now that just the Warriors, the Blazers, the Clippers, and the Suns. How you see that? How do you see that one going?
In the West,
Yes.
I don't know. To be honest with you, you got Denver, Minnesota, Houston, Phoenix, Clippers, Trailblazers, Golden State. Those are all right. I
Yeah,
don't
they're all
know. To
set.
be honest,
They're all set. It's just a matter of who finishes where.
mm. I really,
Because-
to be honest with you, the team that I think that's coming out the West is San Antonio.
Okay.
I do.
So if you look at that playoff picture, they are currently the number 2 seed. They will await whoever ends up being the 7th seed.
The Clippers.
It'll probably. I don't know. I think it might be this. I don't know. I don't
Right
know
now, the
because
Suns are the 7th seed, and the Clippers are the 8th.
right, but they play each other in the play-in. So
Right.
whoever wins that one goes, becomes the 7th seed.
I'm gonna say the Clippers are gonna win that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna say the Clippers are gonna win that one, and I definitely think, you know, the Trailblazers might disappoint the Warriors.
Really?
Yeah,
You don't think that that Steph will be back in time and
I don't know, man. They just lost Moses Moody for the season. They got a ton of injuries.
but it's
Um,
just one game. I mean,
I
well,
know.
it's 2 games because
Yeah,
once they get past the Blazers, then they have to go and play the loser of Phoenix, LA,
right,
and then they have the consolation prize of being fed fodder to the Thunder.
right. Yeah, nah. I think Trailblazers are gonna win that one, bro.
All right.
Yeah.
We may have to do a gentleman's bet on that one because
hmm
I mean I don't see it. Then
Hey,
again,
listen, we've seen
maybe
some
maybe
things
what it is
happening.
maybe what it is that the basketball head in me knows better than to bet against Steph Curry. Just knows
Mhm.
better. I just know better. I'm like, if I have not learned yet, I'm never going to. I've learned not to count that man out because, like I said, this nigga's walking right now. I don't know where in the world he is right now, and he's in scoring position. So that's just crazy. He's in scoring position as we speak. There is no game. He's in scoring position. So, but you know, with the standings being what they are, and where everybody is, I don't know. The Western Conference, like the only matchup that kind of looks interesting to me is the Denver Minnesota one.
Yeah.
I really don't care about Houston LA. I think that's a toss-up series. I mean, despite what playoff seeding is, I think they're both the same team, essentially.
Right.
Maybe the Lakers have a slight edge offensively. Defensively, the Rockets are worlds ahead of them. But then they earned the consolation prize of being the next victim to the Spurs, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Because neither one of them are getting past the Spurs. I don't think so. I see the Spurs going to the Western Conference Finals.
I got the Spurs coming out the West.
Yeah, I know that. Randu does not agree with you. It looks like I don't. Marlon Mayhem does not also agree with you. He has OKC.
Yeah, Marlon don't like San Antonio. Marlon got a grudge with San Antonio, you know.
Why,
so
from what? From '99?
Nah. I think it's more like he thinks he's not a big Wemby fan. You know what I mean? So I think that's what it all falls down to. But me personally, I think that team is tough. They're young. You know, they got a pretty good young solid team, and Wemby's playing great basketball, man. So I really feel like, and listen, don't get me wrong. I know the regular season is the regular season, and I see San Antonio kind of packed up OKC, so I get it, right? But the playoffs is different. It happened to us last year where we was getting packed up by all the great teams. All the contending teams was packing us up, and then came playoff time. We send Boston home. That was one of the teams that was fucking us up.
And we sent Detroit home, who also fucked us up.
And Detroit too. Yeah, Detroit too. They packed us up. So I don't know. Let's see what happens, man.
I think I would still give the Thunder the team to come out the West, just because when I look at San Antonio, they're a year or two ahead of schedule. That's the best compliment I can give them. They're a year or two ahead of schedule. They were not supposed to be this good this quickly.
The Spurs, right? The Spurs.
No, the Spurs. I didn't think the Spurs would be this good this quickly. I figured that they would be better. I was figuring that they'd be like a 4 or 5 seed. And I clearly thought that the Rockets would be the better team, be the number 2 team, but San Antonio said, "Fuck that, hold my beer," and they went to work, and they've been a consistent, good, up and down, and exciting team to watch. From if you have League Pass, especially in the matchups against the Knicks, we've seen 3 great games being played against those 2 teams, which is why a lot of people that I've spoken to, they would love, absolutely love, if the NBA Finals was a matchup of the Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs. We gotta hope and pray that we get there first, but because I would love that. How unique would that be, and how great would it look for the NBA if the final of the NBA Cup happened to be the same matchup in the NBA Finals, and that would hold some more validity to why the NBA Cup was ever designed and what was its purpose. And could you imagine? Just imagine, because we all know who won the NBA Cup. The winner of the NBA Cup also takes home that Larry O'Brien. I'm
It's
pretty sure
true.
that Dolan will raise both banners just to just rub it in.
Right, right. I mean, listen, man, I would love for that to happen, but in order for that to happen, the Knicks gotta play solid basketball for 4 quarters, not for 2 quarters, not for a quarter. They gotta do it for 4 quarters. So especially against all the good contending teams like Boston, Detroit, even Cleveland, you know, don't sleep on them. Um, so let's see what happens.
Yeah, that is actually kind of an interesting situation because the Cleveland Cavaliers, you know, they lost the other night against Miami, and they play them again tomorrow night, um, which will be interesting because if they fall again, um, I will just say without a doubt you can forget them catching the Knicks because I don't think they will.
All right.
I don't think they can now. Um, but if they lose again to Miami, then I'm pretty much waving the white flag because after this is their schedule. They have Miami next on Friday night. Then they're in Utah, in LA against the Lakers, at Golden State. Then they have an easy portion of this. They have Indiana and Memphis. Then they're in Atlanta for 2, and then they close out the season with the Wizards. So um, Cleveland, they almost have to win out.
Yeah.
They almost have to win out to catch us.
Yep.
And
That's right. Because they
um,
behind us 3 games.
they would almost have to win out and,
3 games
and
back.
not only keep pace, but they'd almost have to win out. On the same token, the Atlanta Hawks, they have, their next game is at Boston, then Sacramento, then against Boston again, they host the Celtics, then at Orlando, at Brooklyn, at home against the Knicks, then they have 2 against Cleveland, and then they close the season out at Miami. So I'm not really worried about them. Who's left in terms of schedules that I have to worry about? Look at the Celtics because I remember the Celtics had a crazy schedule too. So they have Atlanta, then they're at Charlotte, at Atlanta, at Miami, at Milwaukee, against Toronto, at home against the Hornets, at the Knicks, then the last 2 in New Orleans and Orlando. So this is going to be a crazy week, bro.
Yeah. No, it is.
So
This is the whose schedule was that? The Celtics?
that was the Celtics.
Oh man, they tough.
They're,
They got a harder schedule. Nah. We got a
yeah,
pretty
theirs
hard
is worse.
schedule.
Theirs is clearly worse. Theirs is clearly worse because they're playing nothing but teams that are that are fighting. And Boston has a notorious knack of always wanting to rest their guys. The final like 4 or 5 games, and that you kind of have to do that with Tatum because you don't want to stress that issue out. You don't want to push him too hard too soon because I still don't understand why he even came back. It's not like they're going to compete for a title, but I mean, respect to him for doing it, but you got to figure a way.
You say you're talking about Tatum?
Yeah, I'm talking about Tatum. I don't know why he came back.
He's playing pretty good though.
He is playing pretty good, but you still have to be very cautious because that's still an Achilles tear.
For sure.
That's still like. I know that he might be a professional athlete. He might be a freak of nature and all that other stuff, but you can't rush that. And for me, I think he kind of did. And that's not me saying talking out of just being a couch jockey. That's me looking at a human being and with like genuine concerns. Like the way Jason Tatum plays, Jason Tatum is all about explosive, being explosive. The same way as Tyrese Halliburton. They like to explode off off that first step, and they really put a lot of pressure on that Achilles tendon and that calf muscle. So if you are not, I mean, you notice Halliburton snap back, and he's not
Yeah.
coming back.
Nah.
It was probably the
No.
smartest thing he did.
And
But
and in the end, they ain't playing for nothing.
and then
So
exactly. So the fact that the Boston Celtics are where they are, to me, that's overachievement. They're overachieving as crazy. But the fact that he came back, the only reason you come back this soon is because you think you're going to win a title. I'm sorry, you're not.
right.
I don't think you are. This team is not this. I don't think this team was designed this way, because if that were to be the case, you would have tooled, the front office would have tooled it that way. They were designing that team specifically for the fact that they were going to play for next season, not this one. The fact that they did as good as they are right now, it's just a testament to to the talent and the will of your coach and the other star player you have on that team. Why the fuck would
Yeah.
you come back and risk it? I don't see the
Yeah.
point, unless you know you're going to win the title, which you're not. You're not going to.
No.
Even if the
Uh,
Celtics get back, all right, I'm going to give them the best case scenario. Even if they defeat the Knicks in round 2 and they get their get back from last year, you're not getting past the fucking Pistons. They're just not. They're gonna. I don't see them getting past the Pistons. So then, what would be the
and
point?
and Kate Cunningham by then should be playing already. He might even
Yeah.
play before that.
Um, I don't think that he's due back for another 2 more games. If I've been told, unless I read one of the insider bloggers on Twitter that said that maybe 2 or 3 more games.
Oh, see, so look, that's gonna be, I don't know. It just depends on how everybody's playing. You know what I mean? So far Boston is playing really good basketball,
They are,
especially with Jason Tatum coming back. And even Detroit a little bit has been playing good without Kate.
but make no mistake about it. Detroit going into the playoffs without Cade, they're a lame duck.
Yeah,
They're a lame duck. They are, and that's not a knock. But they just are. Even if you get past the first round, and I think that and I'm more than likely they will. Let's say Cade Cunningham does not come back till round 3 or midway round 2. Even if they get past the first round, you're gonna probably go through a 6-game series, no matter who you play against.
yeah,
Let's say in the best case, I mean, let's just bring it up again in the playoff picture. If they play, let's say the Sixers, that's a 6-game series. You're playing against the Magic, that's a 6-game series. You're playing against the Heat, that might be a 7-game series. You're playing against the Hornets, that's another 7-game series. That's if they don't have Cade Cunningham, because you
right.
have to do and then I mean, come on now. And then you're going into round 2. If you still don't have Cade Cunningham for round 2, you got to deal with the Cavs, which I think
I
they.
know.
Uh, uh, I'm sorry, but what do I know? That's just one man's opinion. But
We played Toronto. It seems like a favorable series for us,
that's a gentleman's sweep, 5-6 games,
right?
and then in round 2, we'll take the Celtics. We'll take the Celtics out in 6 games again.
But we got to play strong, man. Like we can't be bullshitting. You know what I mean? Can't.
We can't
You
mail it
know,
in for 2.5 to 3 quarters
no,
now.
no,
You're right.
like we really like we really gotta play like we've been the number one defensive team for the past 2 months. We really gotta play like that with a sense of urgency. We can't be turning over the ball, making bad decisions. Um, you know, and honestly, defense wins championships. You can have all the great players if you want on your team, but if you don't play defense, you're gonna get cooked. So, if you playing one of these teams that could light you up from the 3-point line and not playing good perimeter defense, you will get shot up that night. If you playing one of those teams like Hornets that coming in fast-paced team and they run it down your throat, pause, you will lose that night. So, the Knicks got to do better.
Right. And Sean, shout out to you, bro. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They don't have the fire right now, and I really hope that we do see something. I mean, I'm not worried about Josh Hart specifically, but Mikal Bridges. I'm not too concerned with him, but I would like to see one performance over the next 5 games where he shows people that, what we've been saying, this whole season. Fuck them picks.
Right.
Let's keep on saying it.
Right.
But that's neither here nor there. We will leave that up to you guys to decide. Thank you so very much for joining us tonight. I know it's getting late on a Thursday night, but we will be back Sunday night after the Knicks take on the defending NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder. That'll probably. What time is that game on? What does it say?
I don't know.
That's a 7:30.
Sean is right, 1000%. She said female Sean.
Oh shit.
I hear you. My bad.
Yeah, we will be back on Sunday night following the Knicks and Thunder. Hopefully, it's a celebratory Sunday. We definitely need it. But until then, shout out to Mrs. Knicks, to Tea Time and Fraz, wherever you guys are. Shout out to all of you for joining us. We do heavily appreciate it. It is getting late, and we all have jobs to do tomorrow. Right. But thank you so very much. Be sure to hit that like. Be sure to hit that. Continue to comment. Be sure to share the stream. Sharing is always caring. We are still on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're at 984, 985. We've been stuck on that for a while, and we can only reach 1,000 with the help of our and love of our faithful fans, our day ones that continue to join us each and every night. These are not easy, to stay up every single game, especially those West Coast games are a pain in the ass. But we do it because we love the Knicks, we love you, and we love we're going to continue to do this until we can't, pretty much. But until Sunday, for Mr. Kev Rodriguez, I'm your boy, the infamous one, Knickerbocker Avenue, telling you to keep on talking that ish. Cop yourself some merch. Visit the Knicks and His Shopify. Continue to do, talking that ish, folks. And Kev, you got to do it.
Hit that outro.
Boom shakalaka! The Knicks are grit. These kids and our party ain't just lit. Bet is the lit. Good. You know we lit. Good. You know we lit. You know we lit. You know we lit. Turn up, know we lit. Turn up. You know we lit. Let's go deep time. You know we lit. Mrs. Nixon. You know we lit. Kev, what up? You know we lit. Fresh, that's the Pearl, Lord. You know we lit. Knickerbocker, have a talk.